Actor Garey Busey was born on June 29, 1944, in Goose Creek, Texas. He made his film debut in the 1971's biker epic Angels, Hard as They Come. And you might remember him as the assassin Mr. Joshua in Lethal Weapon with Mel Gibson, as the tough naval commander Krill in Under Siege with Steven Seagal. In 1978, Garey strapped on a guitar to play the title role and actually perform his own songs in the Buddy Holly story, for which he earned an Oscar nomination. In 1988, Garey Busey suffered severe skull fractures in his motorcycle accident. He has not been wearing a helmet then, and at first doctors feared that he had suffered permanent brain damage. When Busey eventually recovered from hitting the curb 45 miles an hour, he vividly described leaving his body, going to the afterlife. Garey talked about being lectured by angels who spoke in thought with him in androgynous voices. And after he was discharged from the hospital, Garey spoke out against the rules requiring motorcycle helmets to be worn and said that he would continue to ride without wearing a helmet. Since then, he has changed his position on helmets, and it's my pleasure to introduce Garey Busey. Garey, welcome to Coast to Coast.
Well, thank you, George. It's nice to be here.
This is indeed an honor. And what's even stranger in life is you have a relationship, sort of, with Coast to Coast.
Well, not sort of. In 1995, I was in Cathedral City, California, Charter Hospital after ODing on cocaine. And, that was my final battle with cocaine, thank God. But I listened to a show called Coast to Coast, started listening to it then with Art Bell. Mm-hmm. And that show, when I listened to it at night, my ego was smashed and I had nowhere to go. But that show gave me a look inside my true self without me knowing it. And it was a beautiful explanation of my true identity. And that was my first step to find myself.
And it seems like you've done a good job finding yourself, Garey.
Through prayer and obedience, and learning how to start every... what's great about life is you start every conversation with a compliment. And you consider other people's feelings first before you consider yours. Because arguments just come from people arguing about their own feelings. George, you and I, we have feelings. You own yours, I own mine.
Right.
It's not right for me to try to override your feelings with what I feel should be the true feelings that you should have, because you own those feelings. I own mine. Therefore, the feelings aren't the purpose of the battle. It's the inappropriate, compatible communication that comes with being in fear and being insecure. And the word fear, F-E-A-R, that stands for false evidence appearing real. So those people out there in fear create it themselves, just like I have. And I'm speaking from experience. My true experience. And the word doubt, D-O-U-B-T, that stands for debating on understanding bewildering thoughts. Debating on understanding bewildering thoughts. Well, who's debating? You are. And who are you debating with? Yourself. Clear out the debate. Clear out the fear.
When I first met you tonight, I have felt, and I continue to feel it, more energy coming from you than almost anybody I've met.
Well, I was told that I was born with the energy of 10 men who have normal jobs. And I'm sure my mother, Virginia, can affirm that. But I got my energy from her. She's English-Irish. My dad's American Indian and French. So I got my courage and strength from him.
Goose Creek, Texas.
Yeah. It's called Baytown now. That was 1944. But right now it's called Baytown, Texas. And that's my birthplace. And I love that place.
When I remember seeing you for the very first time, for me, it was the Buddy Holly story. And you played all that music.
Yeah, that was the first musical done live, where we sang it and played it. The people who produced it were from Philadelphia, and they'd done rock videos. So they wanted me to play and sing. And I said, well, okay. I was in a story about Buddy Holly and the Crickets years before, but they didn't have the rights to use Buddy Holly's name in merchandising.
Ah, okay.
So 3 or 4 years later, here they came, and I played the part, and thank you, God.
Yeah. Is that what really kicked off the career?
Yeah, that was it. I've been working 9 years, and that was the first movie I had vocal responsibility in, which means, you're the star. But I'll tell you, George, in truth, a star is nothing but a self-contained mass of gas way up in the sky. I'm a Texas boy, and I have Oklahoma roots as well.
Later on this hour.
God bless. I got to say, God bless Tulsa.
Absolutely.
That's my heart.
Absolutely. We're on a monster station there, KFAQ, by the way. 50,000 huge watts of you right now.
God bless my friends in Tulsa. Everyone.
Later on this hour, Gary's going to pull out his guitar and play a few songs for us. He's good. He really is good. And what's also so interesting about you and your career is your adaptability in the parts you play.
Well, acting, to me, acting is the absence of acting. It's believing in the truth of the moment you're creating at the time. If the movie, if you put your hands together and your right finger and your left finger, forefinger, put them about a foot apart. That's your right finger is where the movie begins. Your left finger is where the movie ends.
Right.
3 feet behind that, I'll build a backstory on my character and give him from birth, his peer group, his parents, his girlfriends, his schoolwork, his going against the law, military, whatever it is, I create to bring that character to life. And when the first scene is done, I wrap the character around me and my heart comes through it. Therefore, it's no acting required. It's just believing the truth of the moment you're creating at that time with the energy creatively from your spirit, your mentality, your emotionality, and your physicality into that discovery. It's called giving birth to yourself in a strange, entertaining way.
Tell me about the moment of that accident and what happened to you and how you changed so dramatically.
Wow. That accident is a blessing. December 4th, 1988, I was on a Harley Davidson. I just got it out of Bartell's when they were on Lincoln. I turned right on Robertson off Washington. My back wheel hit sand. We fishtailed. I fishtailed and motorcycle fishtailed. I hit the rear brake. It went down. I took my foot off the rear brake. It flipped me over and hit my head first into a curb. Double compound fracture on my lower ilium in my back.
Oh, man.
It split my skull from the right temple to the top of my head and knocked a hole in my skull as big as a 50-cent piece. And there was a policeman there, and he was only there scouting the route of the marathon race. And he called the paramedics. They put me on code red and blue right to Cedars-Sinai, where Dr. Hooten, Lauren Hooten, operated on me. He told me if I'd have been 3 minutes late, I'd be dead. Well, I did die. I died after surgery, and I went to the other side. And I had quite a journey that started me in a new door of my life. Understanding that there's more here than I thought there was. There's more in me than I thought there was. And that's the way it is with everybody, truly. There's more in you than you think there is. And the giving and the loving you have and not taking things personally and not taking things seriously will take you to a place of calm and relaxation where everything is fine. Everything's okay. And when I went to the other side, there were balls of light in the air. And 3 of them came down to my essence. I was about a foot long and a quarter of an inch wide. And I wasn't a boy or a girl. I had no emotions from the earth from this place, Earth. And the light on the left spoke to me in an androgynous voice and thought, telling me what I'd been doing was good, direction I was going in good, ups and downs, come with the dinner on the unconscious menu. And, it said that where you're going now, where you're headed now, you need to look for help in the spiritual realm. And then the voice said, you may come with us now or return to your body and continue your destiny. It's your choice, the light said. I can't impersonate the light. It was just, you can't look an angel in the eyes because there's so much. They don't have eyes, but they do when you see them on earth. But the light that they bring to you has so much love in it, you can't look right straight in the light. Because there's so much. I've never felt love and truth in my life, this lifetime, as I did then. Then when I came back, I had to start all over again because in terms of walking, talking, eating, organization, everything, I just came back from the dead. And 2.5 months, I was to stay in the hospital. They said, he'd go home now.
It's amazing.
And they had a big meeting with occupational therapists, speech of physical fitness therapists, psychiatrists, neurosurgeon. Dr. Roger Light and Barry Ludwig. Dr. Barry Ludwig were with me on this journey. Thank God for them. And they said that Garey has this faith of healing. He's already well, but I wasn't really well. But I was on the movement because I believe so strong in the goodness that God gave me in my life. And that's a big key to understanding how to be graceful to yourself with humbleness and humility, because that's the ingredients of a true leader. And I got out of the hospital 2.5 months early. They said I was born with the energy of 10 men who have normal jobs. So I came out, and the first thing I said to the press was, helmet laws, never mind. I wasn't wearing a helmet. I don't need one now. They should be mandatory for 16 years and down. I must say now I was manipulated by people who didn't want the helmet law, and I was still in recovery. A few months later, I learned what I did, went to the symposium of the National Head Injury Foundation at the Bonaventure Hotel in Los Angeles, and met Mr. James Brady and asked him to introduce me to the press corps, and I recanted everything I said. Then the National Head Injury Foundation invited me to go to have a White House briefing a White House briefing with the George Herbert Walker Bush administration with HUD. And I gave him an idea I was thinking of. Helmet law being mandatory in every state, period. And I'm still behind that 150,000%. And also the federal government needs to help people who have these head injuries. Sure. And President Clinton signed that into an act in 1996. It's called the Traumatic Brain Injury Act. That's why the motorcycle accident I had was a blessing. And I'm still speaking very forthright on the helmet law being mandatory. When I was in Phoenix, Arizona, I've already had on my website, a young boy wrote in saying, I'm wearing a helmet now because you're my friend. His mother supported him. Another little boy said, I'm wearing a helmet now because anybody as tough as Garey Busey that wears a helmet, I'm going to wear one too. So the purpose I have, one of the big purposes God has for me in my life is to speak about life versus death in a positive way of resurrection.
It's part of the mission.
It is the mission. And I went on MSNBC 2 weeks ago and had a talk about helmet law after Ben Roethlisberger went down on a motorcycle wreck. And then the next night they had me on MSNBC, Rita Cosby, debating a Michigan congressman because they wanted to repeal the helmet law. And I debated him, and I hit a grand slam home run. And Governor Jennifer Granholm of Michigan just wrote me a letter saying, thank you very much. I vetoed the repealing act.
Good for you.
And that's just what we're in life for, is to give and understand and help others and support them in every way. And there's 3 men working with me. Bryant McGill, Dr. Louis Turi, and Jim Carroll.
The same Dr. Turi we know and love?
Yeah, that's him.
All right.
These are major influences of my life to clean up the dirt that has been around me. Dismissing internets and websites on me that are decadent, negative, and evil. And Dr. Turi is an astral psychologist who has the wisdom of the universe. And he promotes it and gives it. And these are people to get in touch with if you're having problems in any way. And I can't give phone numbers out. But perhaps you might want to call in here.
Or we'll put links on, too.
Put links on it, because Dr. Louis Turi, Bryant McGill, and Jim Carroll and I make up the 4 horsemen of the cosmos.
I love that name.
That's a good name.
I love that name.
That name was given to us by the angels.
Gary, and you're acting. I can't wait for you to pull out that guitar after this break that's coming.
It's already out,
George. I'm going to get ready for this. You're going to hear Gary with some of his own music. He's going to tell you a little story about Buddy Holly's mother and lead into a few of it. I mean, he was doing a little practicing, not a lot, but a little earlier. And I'm telling you, it's fantastic.
Well, the first song I'm going to play is called Dancing in Twilight. And that song, I realize now, came through me because 2 years after I'd written it, I sat down with a spiritual group and expressed the thoughts of the song by telling them the lyrics. 20 minutes later, I understood that was a message I got from the angels, from God through the angels to me, singing about my out-of-body experience. The word stars relate to angels. The word wind relates to the spirit. There's many spiritual connections in this song. And it came through me, not from me.
Are your doctors amazed at the results and how far you've progressed?
I'm sure they are. They haven't told me, but I gotta thank you, God, on all the doctors that have been with me. Dr. Chester Griffiths on my cancer in the middle of the face, the rarest cancer you can get, synovial cell sarcoma.
I didn't know about that.
It's called synovial cell sarcoma maximal sinus. I had too much cartilage in my left jaw joint, and it moved over into my left sinuses and grew up and imploded on Oahu.
When did that happen?
May the 15th, 1997. And I had the surgery on May the 24th, 1997. They didn't know if it was curable because it was malignant and congenital.
And you beat that?
Well, I didn't beat it. I just moved through it.
All right, now we're gonna play some music in about 3 or 4 minutes, Gary. When we come back from this break, we've got the links up, by the way, for you on the coast-to-coast.am.com.
Why are you taking a break?
I got to make some money.
Well, I'll loan you some.
Oh, I bet you could. I've seen your credits. You've done a lot of movies.
Well, there's more to come, and I'm so proud of that. Thank you, God.
All right, well, stay with us with our special guest this hour, Garey Busey. And I'll tell you what, if we have time, we're going to open up the phone lines as well. If you have an opportunity or two to give us a call, we're going to play the numbers.
Yeah. I would like to hear what the people have to say and what they're feeling about, because I'm here to give, motivate, and inspire.
All right. Our guest, Garey Busey.
Thank you.
I'm George Norrie. Back in a moment on Coast to Coast AM. Okay, well, you've got the numbers. Garey Busey in the studio. We're going to take some phone calls. He's going to play some of his music. We're going to talk a little bit more because he's got a paranormal thing coming up. So don't go away on Coast to Coast AM. And welcome back to Coast. I'm George Norrie, along with Garey Busey, who has promised to come back here and do some segments with me again.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hold you to it.
Absolutely.
Hey, how's your son Jake doing?
Oh, man, Jake is a blessing in my life. He started in a movie career when he was 5 years old, and the movie was called Straight Time with Dustin Hoffman and Kathy Bates and Harry Dean Stanton and I. And I knew then he had the goods. And we moved to Malibu in 79 and put him in private schools and took him out of show business.
Uh-huh.
And he is just a natural. To him, it's just a beauty to see him perform. He's been in movies such as Starship Troopers, Contact, Enemy of the State, I think, Twister. Had his own series called Shasta McNasty on UPN. Right, yeah. And then he just finished Roadhouse 2, and he just finished, rather, a prequel to Lonesome Dove. And he's a rising star, no doubt about it. He's got all the goods, and he's so precious in my heart. And that's his joy. That's a real gift from God, a child.
Sure is.
And my gosh, he's got the best of his mother, Judy Lynn Busey, and his dad. So I adore him, and he's moving on. He's moving on. He's got his focus on his journey and the forward movement step by step, and he's going to accomplish what God's purpose is for him.
Nothing more exciting, Gary, I've got 3 children, than watching their careers and seeing them grow. Nothing more exciting. Hey, you've got a program coming up on VH1, is it?
Yeah,
what is that?
It's called Paranormal, I think. VH1, 5 celebrities go into a haunted house in Knoxville, Kentucky that is really haunted from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. and see who can stay the longest.
And you're going to do this?
Oh, gosh, yes. This is This is yeah.
I will bet now.
What?
You won't leave.
I won't.
You'll be the last one in there.
No, in the 80s in Malibu, I was known as the thing who wouldn't leave. It's like, is he still here? Yeah, it's been 2 days. She's under the table.
That's great. Let's take a couple calls and we'll come back to your music.
Okay.
Let's go east of the Rockies. You are on Coast to Coast. Welcome to the program. You're on with Garey Busey. Hi there.
Hi, it's Dan from Harrisburg, PA.
Hi, Dan. Go ahead.
Dan, how are you, buddy?
How are you, sir?
I'm incredible.
First of all, I want to thank you. I've been following your career from Bustin' Loose all the way up to Point Break and beyond. I've always been one of my favorite actors, but I have kind of a personal connection. My brother got his first Harley-Davidson in 1988, about 2 weeks before your accident. And when your accident happened, the family got on him about having the bike, and he said, I promise I'll always wear my helmet. And in 1996, he got hit head-on by a drunk driver, and that helmet saved his life. So I want to thank you for that influence.
Thank you, God. That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Also, I've heard in previous interviews you said that when you were filming the Buddy Holly story, that you actually felt his presence and that you almost felt him channeling you. And I've watched the film over and over again, and even your mannerisms and just the way you moved, it just seemed like he embodied you, and I'd like you to elaborate on that if you could.
I will, certainly. I had no control of the script, the scenes, the money, the production. I was just hired to play Charles Hardin Holly, a.k.a. Buddy Holly, and do the music and sing the songs live. And what happened to me in that show, I didn't realize it at the time, but I would go into a place of self-hypnosis, it felt like to me. And you can see it. You can see me coming out of one of those spells after a song I sang called True Love Ways. And I'm looking to the left, and you see me come back into consciousness. And that song, True Love Ways, Buddy Holly was singing through me. Because I'd never heard the song until the day we shot it, and I didn't even know if I could sing it in the range Buddy wrote it. So that was a very, very, very special blessing I had. Also, I said things and did things that weren't in the script that he would do. And his beautiful widow, Maria Elena Holly, gave me that information. But it was a natural. It was a blessing. And thank you, God, again.
Dan, thanks for your phone.
Thanks for the call, bud.
Let's play a little music, Mr. Busey.
Okay.
Tell us what you got here.
This song here is the one I was talking about, Dancing in Twilight, which is about the my trip to the other side. True blessing it was. Here you go. Dancing in twilight, not long does it last. It comes without warning and it goes away fast. Move into shadows where it's safe to be lonely. That's where your future begins. Shimmer in stardust far away from the earth. Breaking away from a much-needed birth. Have you ever been sailing with ambitious feelings over something you already have? Yeah, you already have it. It's you. Could be the innocence that brings out the genius. Who wish to know who's the star in your show? But let it fall lightly, like snow on a meadow. That's all your dreams want you to know. Wind in the hair of a sailor at sea. Stars overhead show him where he will be. Angels with candles burn soft to dismantle. Whatever you fear, let it go. Let it go. Oh, let it go. Elusive and silent like mist on the moonlight. Whispering words you've only heard in your dreams. But here's a surprise. All your questions are over. Here with your invisible friends. Invisible friends. They're your angels to guide and take you back home. They're your angels, you lovely angels. With your angels you'll never go wrong. Run to the window, look into the darkness. See light reflect from down deep in your eye. Like a snowflake from heaven, he'll be on your shoulder. You won't see him, but he's with you all night. Sometimes it feels the wind is missing your sail. Sometimes you feel that you're under a spell. But life is forever and ever and ever. You're just free falling through heaven. You're free falling through heaven and hell. You're free falling through heaven and hell. But you got your angels, all lovely angels. They'll fly and take you back home again.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
I hope that's coming across okay to you guys in Radio Land.
All around the world.
All around the world.
Wildcard line, you're on with Garey Busey. Hi there.
Hi, this is John on the 405.
Hi, John.
John, how are you, buddy? You're not far from here.
I'm doing fine, thank you. First of all, George, thanks for taking the call. Really enjoy listening to you.
You're welcome.
And Garey Busey, I just really want to say thank you. I really enjoy the movies that you're in. It's always fun to watch you work. I particularly enjoyed your work in The Firm, although it was kind of short-lived. It was a great part and really enjoyed your work. I was going to ask you about your son Jake, but you guys kind of covered that a little earlier. So
ask me about him because
I'd like to know how he's done. I saw him and enjoyed him among other things in Contact with Jodie Foster.
Yeah,
and I thought he was really good there. And just kind of wondering if he's got any bigger plans, or if he's got any movies coming up, that kind of stuff.
He's got movies coming up, and he's got bigger plans. And we had a long talk today, and he's going for it. I'm supporting him in every way because he's really coming to a place of a plateau that is his future and his destiny, and the right way to pursue it and do it. And
Well,
that's Jake. That's Jake.
Okay, and I'll tell you, it's neat because when I see him on screen, I think of you because you guys kind of resemble each other.
Well, I've heard people say to me when I see Jake on screen, I think of when I see you on screen, I think of Jake. So it's called
like a real dad.
It's called called profound genetics.
Well, I sure want to say thank you again. Really enjoy your work and hope to see you in a lot more. Thank you very much.
You bet. I'll pass the compliment you have on Jake to him.
All right, next up, first-time caller line. Thanks for being on Coast to Coast. Hi there.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, George, love your show.
Thank you.
Let's do it every night. I've got a quick comment. This is Sean from Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Hey, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Razorbacks.
Hey, we're not all bad, despite what people say about Arkansas.
No, I know. I know that. And the fact is, when you're from Arkansas, you hear bad things said about you. Don't take it personally.
Oh, no, I laugh about it.
Okay, that's even better.
I got a quick comment and a couple of questions.
Okay.
My comment is, I totally agree with you on the helmet law deal.
Thank you.
Thank God, I've never had an accident myself. I love motorcycles. That's all I've ever fiddled with. Ever since I was little, my dad, we was always working on motorcycles and stuff like that. And thank God I've never had a wreck, but I used to be the same way. I hated wearing a helmet.
Let me share this with you, partner. When you're riding on a motorcycle, you have 850 pounds of chrome, metal, iron, and steel with chains, oil, and gas in it. And when you don't have on a helmet, you have nothing but air between your skull and the highway. And when you don't wear a helmet, you'll end up with your brain splattered on the concrete, just like it happened to me.
Yeah. Well, what changed my view on it, mostly I'd say when my son was born, it just totally changed my whole chain of thought on that.
That's great. That's great.
I told my wife, I said, look, I don't want to get out. I'm not worried about me riding. I'm worried about somebody else hitting me while I'm riding.
Well, don't worry about a thing. 99% of what you worry about never materializes. But the safety in your cause for your precious life, your family, and your precious children is to wear the helmet.
Yeah, definitely.
And when I was
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said when I was in Phoenix, I did some radio shows, and people were calling me up saying, Gary, I heard what you said. I'm going to wear my helmet. And the fact is, that is common sense to wear a helmet on a bicycle, a skateboard, rollerblades, skiing, or on a motorcycle.
Yep.
Yep.
You got a quick question there, Sean?
Yeah, my first question is, has anybody ever told you that you and Nick Nolte look a lot alike?
Yeah, of course. We've gotten each other's fan mail before. We've known each other for thousands of years. He's a dear friend and like a brother from another mother. God bless Nick.
Yeah. My second question is, my favorite movie of yours that a lot of people never mention was the movie Eye of the Tiger.
Wow.
I love that movie. I watched that thing over and over. That was a good movie.
Well, thank you so much. That was Tony and Ben Scotty who produced that along with my then personal manager, Herb Nanis. That was a lot of fun doing. It was called guerrilla filmmaking, but we made the story work.
Look at all these films you've been in. I've got this. I went on www.imdb.com, and you have about a zillion credits here.
Well, not a zillion. In 36 years, I've done over 140 projects, television, miniseries, movies of the week, and film.
And now you're doing some national radio talk with us.
Yeah, I am. And I'm getting ready to go to do the paranormal thing. Then I'm going to Las Vegas to be with Bryant McGill, Jim Carroll, and Dr. George Turry. And then I go to Vancouver to do a movie with Robert Halmy called Maneater.
I look forward. You know, it's going to be fun for all of us.
I'm happy. I'm just happy now. When you get happy, things happen for you in the right way.
And it always comes back to you tenfold.
Tenfold. That's correct.
It really does. Tell me that great story about Buddy Holly's mother.
Oh.
And you got to pull that guitar up again.
Okay.
You got to do this.
This is a great story for you people out there, for anyone, anywhere. I was visiting with the Holly family on May 19th, 1979, when the Buddy Holly story premiered in Dallas, Texas. I was in Lubbock. His mother brought me a tablet of paper and said, look at this. And I read it. And she said, I asked him, Buddy, why do you write songs like Peggy Sue, I love you, uh-oh, Peggy, Peggy Sue. And he said to me, Mom, I just write nursery rhymes. And I told him it's time for you to write a love song. I gave him those words. And these are the words that Buddy Holly's mother gave him to write his first love song.
Baby, I'll have you. Maybe, baby, you'll have me too. Maybe, baby, I'll have you someday. It's funny, honey, you don't care. You never listen to my prayer. Maybe, baby, I'll have you someday. Makes me sad, and you are the one that makes me glad. When someday I want you, and you'll be there waiting. See, woo! Ooh, la 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 la. Baby, baby, I'll have you, and you'll have me. Every day it's getting closer, going faster than a rolling coaster. Love like you will surely come my way. Hey. Woo!
Thank you, buddy.
I swear, Buddy Holly's in the studio with us. That was
he
fantastic.
He comes in when we sing for him.
You know, Gary, when he took that fateful plane flight, I wonder if he had a funny feeling.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Waylon Jennings, one of my brothers from another mother, was in Sydney, Australia when I was there. And the Highwaymen were on the stage.
Right.
Willie, Chris, John, and Waylon. Waylon told me, he said, you know, that last night after we played at Clear Lake, J.P. Richardson, the big bobber, came to me and said, can I have your seat on the plane because I get too sick on the school buses and I have a flu now. And I told him it'd be okay with me if it'd be okay with Buddy. So I went back there and told Buddy, and Buddy says, yeah, it's okay with me, but you're going to freeze to death on that bus. And I told him his airplane was going to crash.
Oh.
And Waylon told me he didn't come out of his house for 2 years, and that's been living with him forever.
Oh, my
and
God.
The point about it is that things happen when you least expect it. In fact, in life, what you do is you pray for the best, you prepare for the worst, and you expect the unexpected. That's your journey on life at this time on earth. And even though people leave their physical body, they're still here in spirit.
Absolutely. Are you afraid of dying anymore?
No,
after what
of course not. Death and dying are earth words. You don't even feel it when you go. And you get guys that come before you go and they tell you what's going on and you feel good about it and say, okay, let's go. It's a joy. It's still living. You know, funerals where people wear black and mourn and gnash their teeth, they're just doing it for themselves. What you do when someone passes on is you celebrate. You celebrate their journey in life because they're in a better plateau they've ever been on earth. And that's the joy of life, is celebrating it constantly.
We need more people like you, Gary, more people who have changed.
Well, I'm one of God's purposes for me is to motivate and inspire from my own experiences and my own failings and my own victories. And the word failing, F-A-I-L-I-N-G, that stands for finding an important lesson, inviting needed growth. So, in fact, you don't fail. You just find a better way to do it.
Good for you.
Who can we talk to?
Gary Busey, we're out of time.
One more phone call.
You got 30 seconds.
I don't care.
Deal? Quick 30 seconds.
It's not the time, it's the message.
Okay. West of the Rockies, 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Hi, George. Hi, Gary.
Hey, buddy.
This is Brad, listening to you on 650 KSD out of Sacramento. And I just wanted to ask you a quick question about a movie you played in.
Make it real fast, Brad.
Okay, you were built a electric wheelchair for a little boy that believed in werewolves. You were his uncle.
Excuse me, that was called Silver Bullet, written by Stephen King, and Corey Haim was my little nephew.
you're my favorite actor. I can't believe I got to talk to you. I love you. You're spiritual, and you think the same way I do, and I just love you.
God bless you, son. God
All
bless
right,
you.
that is a great way to wrap this up. But you promised to come back again?
Yeah, I promise to come back. Of course.
Absolutely.
I will not abuse your trust.
I love you. Garey Busey, this has been a treat for me.
Hey, guys out there in Radio Land, God bless all of you.